Arisu is a rich but depressed loner whose only source of comfort was a radio show by a girl named Apollo. However, when she suddenly vanishes, he tries to find her by sauce testing all the baddies in the school. It all begins at the Furin school, which has suddenly turned into coeducation. The homeroom teacher tries to impress all the fresh baddies by advising the boys to be nice to the girls. Scoffing at the speech, Arisu stands up from his seat and tells his teacher that he sounded like a total simp and should redo his speech. Confused by his audacity, the teacher asks him to at least introduce himself. Seizing this opportunity, Arisu tells his new classmates that he is the heir to the Yamabuki group, so he is basically their Elon Musk who will take Japan to Mars. With that, he humbly adds that he is 99% perfect, so for him to be 100% perfect, he needs all the girls to say I love you to him.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the?
After his wild introduction, all the boys gang up on Arisu and tell him that his clownery has scared away all the hoes. However, Arisu calmly tells them that being extra is what attracts all the girls. Just then, a bubbly tomboy approaches Arisu and states that she knows the Yamabuki group is completely loaded, so she would like to become his girlfriend. Hearing this, Arisu stands up and tells the girl to say something in his ear, but when she does so, he flatly rejects her by telling her that it's time for him to take a massive dump. While Arisu excuses himself, the boys who have been dealing with his shenanigans reveal to the girls that Arisu is doing this because he has been searching for a girl since his second year. However, since he hasn't seen her face, he tries to find her through her voice. Meanwhile, Arisu goes from class to class, in hopes of finding his dream girl. After failing yet again, he recalls his depressive past, where his only reason to stay alive was a radio show which was hosted by a girl called Apollo. Every night, he would hear Apollo's voice and start picturing a love story more perfect than Naruto and Sasuke's. All of a sudden, a girl sneaks up on him and whispers I love you in his ear, which causes all his blood to rush south. Startled by this, Arisu demands an introduction, but the cheeky girl reminds him that break is over and he still hasn't gone to the washroom. After returning, he joins his peers in the mess hall, where he thinks about the girl who sounded eerily similar to Apollo. However, Arisu tells himself that he can't be sure since the girl caught him at a time when he was desperately trying to hold his poop together. Just then, he hears a girl's voice echoing through the speakers, which tickles Arisus's pickle, causing him to run towards the broadcasting room. On his way, Arisu thinks about Apollo and wonders if she is closer to him than he had thought. As he was her only listener, they chatted regularly and got so close that Apollo would often tell him that she would like to attend an all-girls school. After her sudden disappearance, he had compiled all the evidence from their chats and quickly learned that she was the same age as him. And since she wanted to go to an all-girls school near the ocean, he dug up all the schools in the area and found out that only Furin offered such specs, which is why he decided to attend Furin School for Boys because he wanted to get closer to Apollo. With the broadcasting room in front of him, Arisu takes a deep breath, hoping that he'll find Apollo in the next room and finally become whole. However, as he opens the door, he is greeted by 4 yummy baddies. Composing himself, Arisu tells the girls that he wants to ask them about something. But before he can do that, they start shouting at him for the sudden interruption. He quickly apologizes to them while his eyes linger longer on Rika, the girl he met earlier, as he thinks about how she and the 3 other girls all sound similar to Apollo. Seeing Arisu completely dumbfounded, Shinobu asks him if he wants to go pro. Confused, he asks what she means, further upsetting the hot-headed Nene, who asks him why he is even here if he doesn't know anything. Finally, Iko reveals they are huddled in the broadcasting club because they want to pursue a career through their voices. Just when Arisu wonders if the girls are trying to start something naughty called Only Voices, Shinobu reveals that she wants to be an anchor, Iko announces that she will become a VTuber, Nene states her dream is to become a voice actor, and lastly, Rika claims that her goal is to become a singer. While Arisu realizes he is surrounded by an ambitious crowd of girls, Shinobu jokingly tells the girls that she heard Arisu give a weird speech about wanting a lover. Before he can explain himself, Nene kicks him and tells Arisu that he looks like a creep who flashes his pickle to random girls. Upset by the allegations, Arisu clarifies that he's not Diddy, as all he wants to do is find someone. Hearing this, Iko shows a screen of her character and asks Arisu if he is here to meet her. When he tells her no, Rika steps forward, asking if he wants to date her since he seemed completely smitten by her in the hallway. Now getting annoyed, Arisu tells them that he has no ulterior motives and just wants to find Apollo. Confused, the girls ask him what an Apollo is, which shocks Arisu, who is sure that Apollo is one of the 4 girls. It then dawns on him that Apollo could be trying to hide her identity, which makes him regret asking them about her directly. Thinking he would have plenty of chances to investigate the girl, Arisu turns to leave when the girls tell him to never show his ugly face in the broadcasting club again since outsiders aren't allowed. This suddenly prompts Arisu to recall a conversation with Apollo where she told him that she wants to pursue a career through her voice. At that moment, Arisu tells the girls that if they let him stay in the club, he will provide them with new equipment that'll give them better sound quality. Finding his terms agreeable, the girls agree, and to pay him for his kindness, they collectively tell him that they love him. However, Arisu starts tweaking out like a virgin and quickly rushes out when he recalls saying "I love you" to Apollo in a moment of loneliness. However, since he's no longer a simp, Arisu makes up his mind to find Apollo so he can make sure she won't blackmail him once he takes over the Yamabuki group. The next day, Arisu makes up his mind to observe and collect notes on the group. But when he enters the clubroom, he only finds Shinobu, who reveals that she likes to come early to practice her lines as she's prone to messing up more. Just when he tries to ask her a question, Shinobu shushes him and prepares for the morning broadcast. Observing her intently, Arisu reads the information he had gathered on her. Basically, Shinobu is a perfect student as she is not only the vice president of the student council but is also treated like royalty by the students. Just hearing her voice, Arisu starts to believe she is completely perfect when suddenly Shinobu starts getting tongue-tied, which upsets Arisu so much that he starts scolding her while the mic is still on. Outside, he catches Nene surrounded by girls, asking her if she got the new volume of Lilycos. Nene eagerly states that she did since she's a die-hard fan, which prompts Arisu to recall that Apollo loved the manga as well. Analyzing Nene from afar, Arisu reads the information on her and comes to know that she loves to cosplay and is basically besties with everyone in her class. As she starts voice acting for the heroine in the manga, Arisu finds himself bewitched until she starts messing up her lines by saying the wrong words. Cringing at her state, Arisu wonders if Nene is special needs when she notices him and tells her friends that she got scared because Arisu keeps staring at her. After barely escaping from the angry crowd, Arisu realizes that he is unable to find the real Apollo because he had been hearing her through the phone. Naturally, the phone would distort her real voice, which is why he's having such a hard time. Suddenly, Iko sneaks up on Arisu, causing him to tumble down the stairs. Still reeling from the shock, he recalls the data he had on her. Turns out, Iko is the one who offers tech support to the broadcasting club and has a massive fan base in the otaku community. When he asks what she is doing here, Iko reveals it's time for her daily stream. With that said, she sets up her iPad and holds a 5-second stream, which ticks off Arisu, who asks her to be more dedicated to her fans. However, Iko argues that her simps don't mind, so she's cool with it. Without engaging further, Arisu leaves, realizing that everyone in the club is unserious, unlike Apollo, who was determined to pursue a career through her voice, and because of this determination, he had promised to learn voice support so he could help her in the future. Later that day, Shinobu goes live and performs badly as usual when suddenly Arisu hijacks the mic and announces that he's fed up by the mediocrity of the broadcasting club, therefore he's going to push everyone to do better. Before he can continue, Arisu is pushed out of the club by the girls. Suddenly, he gets a notification on the screen, which knocks his breath out as for the first time in years, Apollo comes live and tells Arisu that she meant it when she said "I love you." The more he hears the stream, the more it becomes clear to Arisu that Apollo is definitely a member of the broadcast club. He wonders why she is trying to hide herself from him, but then becomes absolutely determined to uncover her identity. A couple of days later, the girls find themselves running on the beach at 6 in the morning as Arisu yells at them to train their bodies if they don't want to end up as land whales, yelling about body positivity. As the girls struggle to run, Arisu shows them how it's done by running in reverse. Nene gets pissed and asks him how he's so nonchalant about it, but like always, Arisu toots his own horn by stating that he's simply an alpha male who is keen on making them all pro. However, when Nene still continues to whine, Shinobu tries to calm her down by saying that they have been slacking off a lot these days, and they could all benefit from Arisus's training. Meanwhile, Rika asks Arisu why he's so hellbent on helping them out and if they can really trust him. In response, Arisu confidently states that he is sure that he can help them climb up the mountain of success. Later on, they stop by a restaurant for breakfast where Arisu hands them a schedule book with details highlighting their issues and future training sessions. He also adds that he has included advice on how they can each improve individually. Shinobu is the first one to express her amazement with how thorough Arisu is with his mission to make them pros. Meanwhile, Nene complains about having to do the legwork of learning perfect Japanese. Iko, on the other hand, acknowledges that she needs to upgrade herself enough that she can get accepted by a VTuber agency while Rika is tasked to sing in front of 50 people. This ticks her off as she asks Arisu if he has ever played an instrument in front of a crowd. In return, Arisu tells Rika that he hasn't played an instrument before, which prompts Rika to whine about how nerve-wracking it is to play in front of a crowd. However, Arisu coldly tells her that if she wants to become a singer, she'll have to overcome her anxiety. He also reveals that he has never been nervous in his life, which Rika calls cap on. She then tells Arisu that he can't tell her what to do since he's just all talk, and walks away, leaving him completely confused. Nene seizes this opportunity and tells Arisu that she understands Rika's reaction since she's someone who is talented enough to write her songs but is getting bossed around by a chud who has no experience with songwriting or live singing. Upon hearing this, Arisu tweaks out as he wonders how the girls have the audacity to doubt his skills. Later at school, Arisu reads up on the data he has on the girls and learns that Rika actually holds mini concerts in the schoolyard. Without wasting time, he heads there and finds Rika holding a guitar. As she starts singing, Arisu is suddenly hit by memories of Apollo and how she pierced his heart with her singing. After her first song, Rika spots Arisu in the crowd, which makes her nervous as she admits to herself that she doesn't want him to hear her sing. Once her concert is over, Rika returns to her playful self and asks Arisu if he has fallen in love with her after hearing her sing. This time, Arisu doesn't hesitate to praise Rika, admitting that she was awesome. However, it only upsets Rika further as she tells him that she's still not going to do what he wants her to do. A few weeks later, Rika thinks about Arisu since she hasn't seen him in a while after their last fight. Then, all of a sudden, she hears an angry crowd of girls telling Arisu to get lost as they want Rika to sing. She then learns that Arisu had been learning how to play guitar just to prove to her that he isn't just talk. Impressed by his determination, Rika then joins him on the stage and tells Arisu that she's going to be his backup singer. After the concert, Rika asks Arisu if he felt nervous, but like before, he tells her that he was perfectly fine. Upon hearing this, Rika places her head against his chest and calls Arisu a liar. A few days later, the entire broadcasting club gathers in the clubroom when Nene announces that she's leaving early again. This upsets Arisu, who tells her that she won't be able to pass her Japanese test at this rate, but she ignores him and walks out. Sighing in frustration, Arisu decides to tail her and learns that Nene is practicing alone. However, he gets annoyed by her lack of passion and bluntly tells Nene that she sucks. When his eyes trail down at the manga in her hand, Nene reveals that this is the hottest chick flick at the moment, a romance which features a princess and a knight. Upon hearing this, Arisu asks Nene if she's going to audition for the role of the princess, but she tells him to piss off since it's none of his business. At that moment, Arisu realizes that Nene is embarrassed, so he confesses to her how he still wets his bed, which shocks her. He then tells her that he doesn't mind embarrassing himself, and it'll help her open up to him. Luckily, his tactics work as Nene admits that she wants to audition for the role but can't because she has no experience in romance. In response, he bends down and tells her that from now on they're lovers, she is the princess and he's the knight. Of course, Nene turns him down, stating that she'd rather eat pineapple pizza than date him. Arisu decides to become the bigger person and asks Nene about her audition date. When she reveals that it's in 3 weeks, Arisu gaslights her by asking if she can't put up with their fake relationship for a few weeks to achieve success. In the end, Nene caves, and the next day they make their romance known to the whole school, which shocks everyone. The broadcasting club is also shocked but ignore their failed display of affection, since they look like a couple from a horror movie. On day 20 of their fake relationship, Nene becomes nervous as she knows they must practice the kissing scene between the knight and the princess. For a second, she wonders if Arisu did all this to get a kiss, but when she sees him all focused, she admits that Arisu had no ulterior motives and just wanted to help her. So she puts on a lip gloss and waits for Arisu to ask her for the kiss, but he plainly tells her that they just need to rest until the audition. While Nene throws a fit at his lack of enthusiasm for the kissing scene, Arisu tells her that she should save her first kiss for someone she truly loves. Upon hearing this, she admits that she had fun with him and leaves. The next day, Nene bluntly tells Arisu that she got rejected since the author of the manga picked her favorite voice actor. This bums out Arisu, who throws the manga on his face. Seeing him in this state, Nene recalls how the princess kissed the knight's helmet, so she decides to do the same by kissing him through the manga. As she turns to leave, Arisu grabs her hand and tells Nene that he could tell she just kissed him. He further pushes her by asking if she's in love with him, which earns him a good beating. With that, Nene yells at Arisu that she hates him and turns to leave. Seeing her leave, the girls enter the room and console Arisu by saying that Nene was lying when she said she hates him, as her ears always turn red when she's lying. A couple of days later, Arisu enters the broadcasting room and witnesses a melon buffet right in front of him. However, instead of being happy like any decent gooner, he screams at the girls. Once the girls are all dressed, Arisu scolds them for carelessly changing their clothes without locking the door. He explains that in this day and age, they need to be careful with such things since anyone can take photos of them and use it to blackmail them later on. But despite knowing that Arisu is right, the girls get irritated as Nene demands him to apologize for creeping up on them. Arisu, being a total softie, quickly apologizes, admitting that he used 10 years of his luck to see multiple plots at once. After school, Rika invites Arisu to hang out with them, but he apologizes and tells the girls that he has something important to do. Once Arisu dips, Nene announces that they need to tail Arisu so they can see his ding-dong. Rika is surprised and tells Nene if she's ovulating, she can go on the hub, but Nene screams and counters that she's doing this to get revenge on Arisu for seeing her in her birthday avatar. Iko admits that it sounds fun while Rika confesses that she is more interested in uncovering Arisus's daily life. So without wasting more time, the girls hop on the same bus as Arisu, and Nene quickly gets to work by trying to catch a photo of Arisu reading a Playboy in public. However, when she zooms the camera, she realizes that he is reading a book called Learn Japanese for Dummies. Rika giggles at this, since everyone knows Arisu is reading that book for Nene. A few minutes later, the bus stops and Arisu heads inside a cafe. The girls follow behind and are shocked to see him working in the cafe. Before Arisu can catch them, they quickly take cover and discuss why a rich brat like him is working in the cafe. Just when they think Arisu is a scammer, his boss comes and apologizes for making him take on more shifts. However, Arisu assures him it's cool, revealing that he needs extra cash anyway. His boss, who is also aware he's a Nepo baby, asks him why he needs to work when he's loaded. Arisu then states that his father is rich while he's an ordinary student who tries to earn his own money. He also adds that he needs to make 1 million yen, which makes his boss curious, who then asks what he's gonna do with that amount. Meanwhile, the girls recall Arisu telling them how he has made 1 million in the stock market and wonder if he was just capping to make it inside the baddie club. However, Arisu tells his boss that the money is for his club as he wants to fund 4 talented girls who are desperately trying to change their sloppy habits to achieve their dreams. At that moment, it becomes clear to the girls that Arisu believes in them and is serious about helping them, so they decide to trust him too. They then show themselves to Arisu, who is shocked to see them, while Nene quickly takes a photo of him in an apron to blackmail him later. The next day, Arisu is worried that Apollo has more blackmail material on him and can easily get him expelled since the school doesn't allow part-time jobs. Just then, Iko walks in and locks the door. Seeing this, Arisu warns her that he's not going to submit to her if she's here to blackmail him. However, Iko starts unzipping her jacket and tells him that since she got to see his embarrassing side, it's only fair that he knows her embarrassing secret. At first, Arisu thinks Iko is trying to show her embarrassingly small cherries, but she reveals her tablet and tells him that she's getting negative comments on her stream. Her loyal fans now think her content is sloppy and boring, despite her doing multiple activities on the stream. In response, Arisu tells Iko he already knows why her streams are failing since he watches her all the time. Pulling up his phone, he then plays different clips of her from different streams, revealing that her avatar is expressionless. The viewers can't tell when she's happy or sad, which is why they're all bored. Arisu then tells Iko that she can easily solve this problem by changing her avatar's costumes or facial expressions to match what she's really feeling. However, she tells Arisu that she's bad at computer stuff, so she doesn't know how to do that. But as always, Arisu saves the day by telling her to leave that to him. After a few days of hard work, he presents Iko 2.0, which can match Iko's facial expressions. However, during the tryouts, Arisu realizes the true problem lies in Iko, as she's unable to show her emotions through her voice. When he points that out to her, Iko blankly states that she sucks at expressing herself, but that's not a good enough reason for Arisu. So he locks the door and starts tickling her, until they both fall on the floor. Seeing her genuinely smiling, Arisu tells Iko that this is exactly what her fans want to see. Suddenly, they hear Nene demanding an explanation on why they're in the baby-making position since she had been watching them with a selfie stick. As Arisu opens the door, Nene quickly ties him up, stating that she's taking her to the Diddy jail for being a creep, when Iko thanks him for helping her. Seeing this, the girls realize that whatever Arisu was doing was for Iko's sake. However, the next day when Iko starts streaming, Arisu immediately realizes that his efforts were wasted since she's back to her usual self. In that moment, he comes to understand that Iko struggles to show emotions in front of others. Meanwhile, Iko increasingly becomes nervous as she watches her viewers disappear on her. Seeing this, Arisu holds a board, asking her if she needs help. Once Iko says yes, Arisu intervenes by pausing her stream, but that freaks her out as she tells Arisu that it's unethical to pause an ongoing stream. However, Arisu doesn't care and scolds Iko for being mediocre and even urges her to quit altogether, which makes her very emotional. As she starts yelling that she loves to stream despite sucking at it, the door opens and the girls rush in, revealing that her stream wasn't paused and everyone heard everything she just said. Iko suddenly becomes dizzy as she thinks that she must be cancelled by now, but when she sees her tablet, she realizes that her viewers have gone up in thousands and everyone is leaving positive comments. On that note, Arisu tells Iko that a VTuber's popularity lies in their personality and then urges her to end the stream on a good note. Later on, Arisu rewards himself by taking a huge dump when he gets a link to Iko's private stream. As he clicks on it, Iko thanks him for helping her and gives him a bright smile. However, Arisu tells her real smile is better than the avatar's smile, which makes her blush. As she covers her face in embarrassment, Iko realizes that every time Arisu looks at her, she feels butterflies. A couple of weeks later, Shinobu is taking care of student council activities since the sports week is about to begin. Just then, the members tell her that her ugly face is plastered all over the document highlighting the activities for the event, which embarrasses Shinobu, who quickly realizes that she messed up again. Later on, she finds herself surrounded by other students who need her help for different things. Shinobu assures everyone that she will take care of everyone's problem with a smile, but when she's alone, she sighs, realizing that she's going to be swamped with work until midnight. After arriving at the broadcasting club, Shinobu briefs everyone that they're in charge of all the broadcasting activities, so they need to be on their A game. Upon hearing this, Rika tells Shinobu they need to come up with a script for commentary, and Shinobu assures her that it will be taken care of by her. Unfortunately, her problems don't end there, as the girls continue to complain about different things that they can't do. Suddenly, Arisu announces that the broadcasting club should have its own separate event during the sports week. By the end of the meeting, Shinobu ends up telling everyone that she'll take care of everything, including the personal activities the broadcasting club should do during the sports week. Feeling relieved, the other girls then suggest going to karaoke, but Shinobu excuses herself, saying that she has a lot of work to do. While the rest of them leave, Arisu stays behind and notices Shinobu's exhausted face. He quickly tells her to follow him and then locks her against the wall, asking her if she'll keep this a secret from the others. Shinobu's heart starts to race as she thinks Arisu is about to give her that fire PP to relieve her tension, but then he hands her a candy. Noticing her surprise, Arisu reveals that she doesn't sound like her usual self, so the candy will soothe her throat. Touched by Arisu's care, Shinobu thanks him when he tells her that he picks up on little things since he's always watching her. The moment Shinobu hears this, her water sprinkler goes off as she tells Arisu that she's going to put more effort into how she looks since he's always looking at her. However, since Arisu is on the spectrum, he doesn't pick up on the hint and just tells Shinobu that she appears overwhelmed. In response, she admits that she wants to shoulder everyone's burden so she can be seen as someone credible. Understanding Shinobu, Arisu tells her that while it's good to work on her public image, she should learn to rely on others and have fun once in a while. With that said, Arisu turns to leave when Shinobu grabs his hand and asks him to have fun with her. A few seconds later, they arrive in an empty library where Shinobu tells Arisu to close his eyes and open his mouth. At first, he agrees, but when the smell of tuna starts hitting his nose, he thinks Shinobu is about to do something funny with him and opens his eyes. To Arisu's shock, he sees Shinobu holding a chocolate as she reveals that she likes to relieve her stress by eating chocolates. Arisu then notices the pile of sweets and tells Shinobu that she'll look like Avatar, the last chair bender, if she doesn't stop consuming so many calories. On that note, he asks Shinobu why she doesn't let the girls from the club help her out. That's when Shinobu confesses that she wants to help her girls as much as possible because she's going to leave the broadcasting club soon. Arisu chokes on air as he hears that and asks Shinobu if she's dying of cancer, but she assures him that she's fine, and just wants to focus on studies since all the big announcers come from good universities. However, Arisu refuses to accept this and yells at Shinobu, causing her to fall in shock. He then goes on a rant about how she sounds like a coward who can't enjoy her life and then tells her that he's going to help her achieve all her goals, so she doesn't need to quit the club. As Arisu helps Shinobu get up, she thanks him and reveals that his words gave her the courage that she needed to trust herself. The next day, Shinobu nervously tells the girls that she has everything planned for the sports week, but she needs their help in bringing everything together. To her surprise, the girls quickly tell her that they're on board. So, on the day of the sports week, all the students are amazed by how organized the event looks. A few hours later, Arisu takes over the commentary duties since Rika and Iko are participating in the partner marathon. However, when the girls hear his ugly voice blasting through the speakers, they force him to run with them instead. And Arisu, being the competitive Chad that he is, grabs Rika and Iko in his arms so they can win the race, but to his dismay, he comes second. Later during the cavalry race, Arisu carries Shinobu on his shoulders since her teammates end up bailing on the last minute. As they face Nene's team, Shinobu feels shy about placing her giant on his shoulders while Arisu assures her that he's exactly where he wants to be. The race begins and ends quickly as Shinobu lets Nene's team get her headband way too easily. As Arisu cries over his defeat, Shinobu consoles him while Nene looks at them from afar and feels a little jealous of their closeness. Later that day, the broadcasting club assembles together to carry out their own event where they'll let students make anonymous public confessions through their broadcasting tools. As Shinobu presents the flyers for their event, everyone praises her for coming up with such a unique idea. Upon hearing the compliments, she admits that she has always wanted to plan and run her own event, and thanks to them, she is able to do that. Then out of nowhere, their club advisor and teacher, Lemon-chan, comes and tells them that they can't have such zesty events in Furin. Upon hearing this, the girls start to complain, begging Lemon-chan to reconsider her decision, but she firmly tells them that having relationships is against school's policy. That's when Arisu decides to step in, and introduces himself as the manager of the club. However, the moment he speaks, Lemon-chan tells him that he is fired from his position, claiming that she never wanted male members in the first place. While Arisu quietly takes his seat, Shinobu tells her that thanks to Arisu, the broadcasting club has gotten popular, and if she agrees to let them host this event, then their club will grow even more popular. When Lemon-chan asks what's in it for her, Shinobu tells her that she just might get that promotion, as everyone will think the broadcasting club became popular because of her, since she is the official advisor. After giving it a second thought, Lemon-chan agrees and asks them how they're going to launch the event. When they tell her about the flyers, she tells them to look outside. There in the courtyard, the strict gym teacher tells the girls and boys to sit separately so they don't get naughty with each other. As the girls wonder how they'll get past him, Lemon-chan reveals that she is going to use her juicy lemons to distract the gym teacher, so they can distribute the flyers. Once everyone is on board, Lemon walks up to the gym teacher and convinces him to take a break by using her fat jugs and mommy voice. With the gym teacher out of the way, the girls try their best to distribute the flyers without getting the teachers to notice them. Yet soon they realize being discreet isn't helping, so Nene comes up with a plan to catch everyone's attention without alerting the teachers. When she shares the plan, Rika tells her that she can't do something so embarrassing, but Nene refuses to take no for an answer and tells her to do this for Shinobu. A few moments later, they come out wearing maid outfits, which causes the whole school to flock around them, allowing them to share the news about the event. All of a sudden, Lemon-chan screams that she can't flirt with the ugly gym teacher anymore and tells them to wrap up the secret operation. By the time the musclehead notices the commotion, the girls successfully manage to escape. After catching their breath, Shinobu goes over the plan once more, explaining that the confessor will enter the dark classroom next door and use the cup telephone to deliver his confession, which she will then broadcast to the whole school. With everything settled, the girls leave to organize the participants, while Shinobu waits by the broadcasting microphone. Just then, she gets her first confession where someone tells her not to mess up her lines. When she rushes out to find the confessor, she finds her friends laughing and wishing her well for the event. Around lunchtime, Shinobu announces that the broadcasting club is ready for their confessions. The gym teacher hears this and is about to take action when Lemon-chan comes and uses her weapons of mass distraction on him. Shortly after, Shinobu broadcasts the first romantic confession of the day, which catches the attention of the teachers. However, they end up thinking it's cute, and hope Shinobu's event will save Japanese people from going extinct. In the meantime, Nene informs her friends that they've a lot of confessors already, which means Shinobu's event is a hit. Just then, Iko asks Rika and Nene if they also feel like confessing. Nene admits that she wants to apologize to someone but can't do it directly since she is too much of a chicken. Rika follows up, explaining that she was cold to someone for no reason and would like them to know that she's sorry. After hearing the two, Iko reveals that she wants to thank someone who helped her out a lot. Just as the event was starting to take off, a loud buzzing sound cuts through the speakers. Back in the broadcasting room, Shinobu starts panicking as the microphone dies on her. Recalling her mother's sharp taunts, Shinobu cries when the door opens and her friends enter. Iko tries to get the equipment working but is unable to understand the mechanics. While the girls urge Shinobu to pause the event, she tells them that they only have until lunchtime. In the end, Shinobu tells everyone that she's going to use her own voice to convey the confessions. Her friends warn her not to, as she'll end up damaging her vocal cords. Then out of nowhere, Arisu appears with a megaphone, stating that their Superman is here to save the day. Without thinking, Shinobu gives him a hug, saying that he always shows up at the perfect time. While Nene gets jealous, Arisu whispers in Shinobu's ear that they are partners in crime for life. Then using the megaphone, Shinobu starts relaying the confessions. In the meantime, Arisu gets ready to go home while Shinobu thanks everyone for participating in her event, and reveals that she will be wrapping up with one final confession. When Arisu hears Shinobu apologize for disappearing 3 years ago, he immediately realizes Apollo is behind the confession, but what shocks him is when she admits to being in love with him. As the students stare at him in shock, Arisu rushes to the broadcasting room and grabs Shinobu, demanding to know if she knows who confessed to him, but she nervously tells him that she doesn't know. Arisu soon realizes that Shinobu is shaking a leaf, so he apologizes and says that he doesn't care about the confession. He then tells her he's proud of her, which makes Shinobu cry as she suddenly hugs him and thanks him for being her partner in crime. Later on, Arisu receives a text from Apollo telling him to come to the broadcasting room. When he rushes there, he finds the cup telephone and places it against his ear as Apollo tells him she's done hiding and ready to show him her face. Who do you think is Apollo? Comment part 6 if you want to know what happens next. As always, like and subscribe for more.